everybody, I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is Kellen Curry, a Republican challenging George Santos in the New York primary. Kellen, thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
Of course, I want to dive into a few things today, starting with comparing your campaign to the incumbent Congressman George Santos. It was widely reported in the first quarter of this year that his campaign lost around $3,000. You just reported some new numbers that you raised over $200,000 in the first 3 months since announcing. Why do you think there's such a disparity here?
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, I'm just extremely proud of my small but mighty team. We rolled up our sleeves. We did what we had to do. We wanted to make sure that we got off to a very strong start. But I think it goes back to who we are. We're running on restoring honest leadership. It's what the American people deserve, and it's what resonated with people all across the country. We got donations not only from right here in our backyard, but from 10 states away, and it was casting our vision and our message, and it resonated with a lot of people, and so they wanted to be supportive, and I'm so appreciative of their support to get our campaign started off on the right.
I want to talk specifically about that message you're talking about. You said this when announcing the fundraising number. People resonate with our message of sticking to kitchen table issues that matter to families and not getting caught up with other distractions taking place. So before we get into that, I do want to know, when you're talking with constituents, when you're talking to New Yorkers, are they bringing up George Santos?
Actually, no. Most folks are ready to move beyond George Santos. I think they get it. They understand that he's very much an aberration. They're tired of not having a effective member of Congress, and so they're ready for what comes next. And so we're talking about kitchen table issues. We're talking about how we can make life more affordable here on Long Island. We're talking about national security issues. We're talking about increasing federal funding for our Merchant Marine Academy, which is located right here in Kings Point, right here in the district, and has a very important role to play in terms of our national and economic security.
Let's talk about those kitchen table issues. According to a recent poll, these are the top issues that are what many Americans consider most important to them: inflation and prices, jobs in the economy, and healthcare. What's your pitch to the people of your district when it comes to these issues?
Absolutely. So on inflation, we have to send more members of Congress who understand the economy. Inflation is coming down, and so a lot of that has to do, I think, with the Republican majority that we have that's been putting pressure on the Democrats, that's been putting pressure on the Biden administration. We saw that during the debt ceiling deal. And so that's been helpful. I think that's been a positive influence for inflation, because I think it sends the right message to the market that prices can come down because we've got in place a divided government that's going to be consistent and that's going to be focused on bringing down the cost of goods all across the country, so more families are not pushed to the margins. Some of the other issues you mentioned, particularly on the job front, the economy is beginning to create more jobs, but we have to stay focused on economic growth. And I think to the extent that we can continue to do that, then we can prevent a recession. Some economists are still calling for a recession, but right now we're kind of on that tip. So we'll see which way it goes. But to the extent that we can make sure we avoid another recession, I think is directly related to us sending more members of Congress who have the ability to lead on the issue of economic security. I certainly have that, having worked on Wall Street for a number of years.